5 a.m. That is when my alarm goes off. Every workday, no negotiations. And before I do anything else, I check the data. My CPAP machine has been running all night, and I want to know how I slept. Blood oxygen, heart rate, hours of rest. I pull it all up on my phone before my feet even hit the floor. Nobody's writing that into a movie script. But I've been doing some version of this routine for years, and recently I stopped and paid attention to the routine itself. Not because of the sleep data, the sequence. Because here's the thing about routines. We build them mostly without thinking. One habit locks into another, and before long, you've got a sequence that runs on autopilot every single morning. We don't examine them very often, we just do them. When you actually stop and look, a routine will tell you more about yourself than almost anything else. Here's my full sequence. And I want to be specific because the specifics are where the truth hides. Like I said, 5 a.m., alarm goes off. First thing I do is check my CPAP data on my phone, my oxygen saturation, my heart rate, my sleep stages. Then I get up, I hit the shower, I get dressed, I load my sleep data into my laptop, I kiss my wife, I drive to work. And then, before the day officially starts, before the emails and the conversations and the studies, whatever the morning brings, I open my Bible study website and I read several recommended passages. And I write a short devotional that I share with friends on Facebook. That's it. That's the whole thing. I started the devotional part late last September. So we're talking about 7 months of this. This isn't something I've been doing for decades. It's recent. I'm still figuring out what it is. Most people, if you ask them to describe their morning, they'd say something like, oh, I'm not really a morning person, or I just kind of get up and go. But most people have a routine. They just haven't looked at it closely. What time do you actually get up? What's the first thing you reach for? What do you skip when you're running late? Those answers tell you something. Think about it this way. Nobody told me to check my CPAP data first thing. That's not a habit anyone assigned me. I chose it. That means I value it. Stewardship. Well, that's kind of what it comes down to. I want to know what I'm working with before the day starts. And at 67, that's not really an obsession. It's just paying attention. What you do first tells you what you're paying attention to. And what you protect, the habits you keep even when the morning gets complicated, those are your real priorities. Not the ones you'd list if somebody asked. The real ones. And what do you skip when life gets hard? That's worth a hard look too. Because usually what we drop first thing is the thing that costs us the most. And sometimes that's exactly the thing we need the most. Let me spend a few minutes on the devotional, because this is where it gets personal. I read those passages of Scripture, and I'm usually moved toward one in particular, guided to it. I'll sit with it for a bit, look it over, and then I'll write something down. Might be a reflection, might be a question that it brought up, or maybe it's something I noticed just in ordinary life that just kind of seems connected. And I'll expand that out and post it on Facebook for people that know me. I want to be clear about something before I go further. I'm not a theologian. I don't have a divinity degree. I'm not a deacon. I don't teach Sunday school. I became a confessing Christian just a few years ago, and most days I feel more like a student than a teacher. So, why am I writing devotionals and putting them on the internet? Honestly, I'm still kind of working that out. What I know is this: I believed in God for a long time, but believing in God and actually confessing faith, actually saying out loud, this is what I trust, this is who I'm following. Those are two different things. And the distance between them for me was pretty significant. So I started writing in late September last year. That was 7 months ago. I haven't been doing this for decades, like I said earlier. I'm learning as I'm writing. Some mornings the reflection comes easy. Some mornings I sit there and wonder if I have any business doing it at all. That feeling doesn't go away, but I keep showing up anyway. Part of what it costs me is time. I'm not writing these in some peaceful morning moment at the breakfast table. I'm finding minutes during the day whenever I can. It requires intention every single day, not just in the mornings when I feel like it. Part of what it costs me is exposure. I spent a career in the Navy, and that culture, leadership, command, deployment, it's not exactly a place where you share your morning scripture reading with your colleagues at the command briefing. Some of the people seeing these posts knew me before. Maybe it was in the Navy, maybe it was in college, maybe from a different job. They knew a different version of me. And I genuinely don't know how all of them are receiving it. Some of them probably really appreciate it. Some probably just scroll past, and there's probably a few who might find it contrary to who they thought I was. That's a real cost. But I want to be honest about that. But the one I didn't expect was this feeling that I'm not complete if I miss a day. Not anxious, not compulsive, just kind of like a gear didn't turn. That day feels slightly off. That told me something. It told me that this practice had become load-bearing for me, which is a strange and humbling thing to discover about yourself at 67 years old. Your 5 a.m. probably looks nothing like mine. Maybe yours is 6:30. Maybe you're retired and the alarm's long gone. Maybe your first move's for a cup of coffee on the porch, or maybe it's all about a dog who has strong opinions about sleeping in. It doesn't matter. The question's the same. What does the first hour of your day actually look like? And what does it say about you? So for 1 week, don't change anything, just watch. Notice what you do, in what order, and how you feel when you skip part of it. Pay attention to what you protect. Pay attention to what you drop. Pay attention to what makes you feel incomplete when it's missing. You'll probably learn something. I know I did. I want to say something here that might land differently depending on where you are. There's a line in Psalms, Psalm 5, verse 3. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. That was written by someone who understood that morning is not neutral. The first thing you turn toward shapes everything that follows. It's not just spiritual intuition, it's mechanically true. What we feed first grows strongest. Like I said, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm just a guy who started paying attention to his mornings and found something he didn't expect. But that verse landed for me because it assumes a posture that I'm learning. Waiting in expectation, not rushing past the quiet, not filling it immediately with noise or a screen. I'm not saying your morning has to look like mine. I'm saying there is something worth protecting in that first quiet hour before the world starts asking things of you, before the news, before the phone, before the day gets its hands on you. That hour's telling you something. The question is whether you're listening. So, what's your morning telling you? That's the question I want to leave with you today. Not a challenge, just an invitation to pay attention, to something ordinary that's been right in front of you. If you feel like it, drop a comment below and share it with the group. The ordinary stuff has a lot to say if we slow down enough to hear it. I'm glad you're here. Let's look for the extraordinary and the ordinary together. I'll see you on the next watch.